My name's Scott Pugh, science advisor. When we're thinking about major defense companies, particularly the ones that CakeBoxx already has a business relationship with, they're all heavily involved in complicated, complex science and technology issues. The things that we're doing with containers today are not the things that we probably would have envisioned doing 15 years ago, or even maybe 5 years ago. What are those science and technology concerns going to be in 2 or 3 years? We know they're going to be there. If we're talking about types of things that CakeBoxx could be doing. Spent nuclear fuel, unmanned underwater vehicles. Maybe somebody needs to put something in a container that wouldn't be affected by electromagnetic pulse, for example. All of those kinds of things. So what's my background? Well, I'm from Southwest Louisiana. My hometown, Lake Charles, has the only deep water port between Houston and New Orleans. And my father worked at the port. So this whole industry is something that I've been involved with one way or the other my whole life. It's really probably what drew me to the Navy in the first place. My major in college was physics. I stayed in the submarine force for 30 years. Ended up being captain of a submarine. Got to do a lot of interesting things, and so here we are. We're on a submarine underwater. We're operating a nuclear power plant. I worked for a while for Rocky Mountain Institute. Then I went to Homeland Security, Science and Technology. Sort of a number of factors that have kind of led me here. We can talk about unmanned underwater vehicles, right? They're not submarines, but they do have all these sophisticated systems associated with them, right? Power, buoyancy, communications, all these types of things that make an underwater vehicle functional. Those are all going to have challenging aspects when they have to be put into a container, shipped halfway around the world or wherever they might be needed. All of that's going to require supply chain and logistics. A UUV, or maybe a couple of UUVs, can be inside of a CakeBoxx, and then they have a lot more security than they would have in a conventional container, where it's pretty easy to break open the doors and get in or out. Wind energy, but particularly I think offshore. So you're seeing a major push by governments. The United States is going to make a big push now on both coasts. That's where most of the people are. That's where a lot of electricity demand is concentrated, on the coasts. Offshore wind has a big advantage that it can be kind of out of sight, out of mind. So we're talking already today about 15 megawatt wind turbines. It's got to, in some cases, get from Europe through the Panama Canal to the West Coast. From the moment it's built, it's got to be supported on something. CakeBoxx has already provided a lot of platforms for Vestas. It's groundbreaking, right? And we see this as a big play. Whether you're talking about UUVs, jet engines, wind turbines, anything big, heavy, complex, expensive that you're concerned about protecting in shipment, I think CakeBoxx makes a lot of sense. The basic science, the physics, the chemistry of things that end up in containers today, that's important to our customers and important to us too.